What's up, guys? We're back!
Not that it's been a couple weeks or anything, but you know.
Life be lifing, and here we are. What are we talking about today?
We went ahead and saw the movie Supercell this past week, and we wanted to go ahead and share with you some of the things we've observed and give you a little bit of our opinion on certain things like we do with other Met Reacts. Now, compared with other Met Reacts, we don't have clips from the actual movie itself since it just came out. We do have some talking points though for it.
Of course, we have watched the movie, we have some notes, and should we go ahead and should we just say it? Should we just say that this was a great weather movie and please go see it? Because oh my gosh.
You know, not to give out spoilers.
Non-spoilery section here, so if you haven't seen the movie, you're good so far.
In general, the theme kind of had a twister-ish kind of start in terms of young child, parent that was impacted by a tornado. In this case was a storm chaser. So you had it building from that kind of a platform or foundation of the movie, and then it advanced X amount of years, and here we were with that same character X amount of years later. Don't want to give too much of it away, but that is kind of the starting point for the movie, and then it took off from there.
Yeah, so I guess we should just jump right into the spoiler section.
Yeah, how do we want to do this?
So we'll put this here. If you have not gone and seen Supercell yet, you can get it on a streaming platform, pay a couple bucks, watch it in your living room. Go see that first, and then when you're done, come back and join us. If you want the movie spoiled before you see it, I suppose you could stay, but this was actually a good one, guys, so go watch it first and come back. And that's it. Now, if you haven't watched it, go away. We're gonna talk about spoilers now. All right, you're back. You've seen the movie, and oh my gosh, there was real weather in it. Did we see CGI at all? I don't think. Well,
I don't think most of it. No.
But no, like there was tornadoes, there were wall clouds, there were shelf clouds, there were storms, and they rotated, and they were in a flat expanse. There was actual meteorology, like. I digress.
It wasn't some weird CGI finger of black something coming down from the sky. All real footage. And we actually saw at the end, the storm footage was credited to our wonderful Pecos Hank.
Yes, it was so cool seeing, you know, of course we've seen footage like that all across social media. If you follow him, you know. But to see actual storm chaser storm footage in a storm chasing movie was a breath of fresh air. Thank you, Hollywood. Shout out. Fantastic.
And thank you, Pecos Hank, for giving them really good footage that really went well with the narrative of the movie. Now, when you first start watching the movie, it kind of took me a little bit to kind of see, okay, what's going on here? Are we in present day? Are we going back a ways? You know, the house setting looked like it was an older house, but, you know, he had newer technology in his truck. But we couldn't really determine Kansas 1973 or Oklahoma 1994. It didn't really do that. So we were kind of like, okay, where are we at and who's who and how does this relate? Once we got through that part, the movie just took off from there, and it was pretty good after that. But that would be the only thing I would say. It was kind of like, okay, in the beginning it was kind of a little funky for me, but it quickly got its act together, and I'm like, or I got my act together probably. I'm like, okay, I'm on board. I know what you're trying to do now.
A little date in like the bottom left corner would have been helpful, but and they also like discussed like, oh my gosh, this tornado it's like a combination of Gerald and Joplin, so it's like, Okay, well, it's not in the 1990s. It has to be like
Yeah.
2011 or 12 or something
So
that we're set in.
yeah.
But he had a corded phone and like a granny cam in his house, but then he had a laptop with internet in his car. So we were kind of confused, but then we figured it out because then it was like, oh, 10 years later, now it's modern day. And it's like, okay.
So again, Twister kind of set the benchmark for, you know, really great movies, and it started with a parent dying and tragedy from a tornadic event. And it just seems like a lot of movies that have come out since then kind of play on that theme early in the movie, where you have the child goes through a traumatic experience and part of that being a parent dying. It's like, why do these movies have to have that? Leave Twister alone. It set the benchmark. We don't have to rinse and repeat that beginning, you know.
Yeah, I think it's giving people a false sense that, you know, if you ever want to be a storm chaser or a meteorologist, your parent has to die. Case in point, you don't.
No.
It's actually great if you grew up with a parent that storm chases, because you get to learn how to do it safer, and you know all the things, and you grow up and you're a storm chaser yourself, and look at that, they're still here.
That's right.
No traumatic event. Maybe that's why I don't have my own movie, though.
Oh, there you go. Well, I guess, you know, you can either be, you know, storm chasing with me, or you can have your own movie without me. It's your choice.
Or I can have a YouTube channel with you.
Or that too. and if you see me looking down, I've got my phone. I'm going through all my notes as we were watching the movie. So
He's not being antisocial.
I'm not being antisocial. So let's say, oh yes, again, going back to giving props where props are due for Twister. When they were doing a search for Bill Brody, as he's typing it in the Google search, what's the first thing that comes up?
Bill Paxton.
We both were rolling. It's like, of course.
That's
of
how
course.
Yep.
A plus.
That's how you do it.
I love the part where one of the people that was on the storm chasing tour, he leans over and he says, "You better buckle up. We got an enhanced risk today."
They're supposed to be storm chasing in Texas, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's an enhanced risk today." Mind you, things can happen during an enhanced risk. We know that, but I mean, it would have been less fun but more accurate if you said high risk. But the fact that he was so excited about the enhanced risk, like, you go, buddy.
You know what? When you live in North Carolina, we get that excited about enhanced risk.
We can't judge that in us.
I mean, there's just days like, we got an enhanced risk.
Oh my gosh, there's a collar over us, and it's not green.
It's not general thunderstorms. So yeah, so it was just kind of funny how they played that. 3 rules of chasing.
Rule number 1, always make sure you got at least a half a tank of gas.
Pretty good advice.
Yep.
Rule number 2, make sure you got an escape.
Definitely.
So what's rule number 3?
Never get caught in the bear's cage.
That is definitely true as well.
That
In
is.
fact, we were very close to a bear's cage last year when we were
whoopsie.
chasing in Texas. And you can see that video. Kayla can link it down below.
Yes.
But fortunately, we were able to get just enough south to get out of it. But it was still quite, you know, a scary experience, even being just outside of it. So
Yeah, sometimes your escape route takes you close to the bear's cage. So you're technically still following the rules, but it gets a little dicey.
you can feel the bear's breath. Okay, so the movie was doing pretty good in terms of its technical accuracy and some of the terminology they were using, the weather videos that were being shown during it, so we're looking pretty good so
Let's
far.
give credit where credit is good. Pretty good makes it sound like, no, it's been fantastic so far. Like, spot on weather terminology, the picture, the scene, like we're doing great so far.
And then the story starts to, they throw a few things in there that were kind of scratching our head and kind of going,
There were
okay.
a couple things. Of course, we have to be picky. You know us. We have to be picky.
So I guess the mom and dad live in, or the mom and the son live in Florida.
Yes.
And the uncle lives out in the Southern Plains. The son decides, I'm Bolton, I'm gonna go see Uncle Roy.
Yes.
Come to find out that he hitchhiked his way from Florida to Oklahoma or Texas or wherever he was at.
Yeah.
But when the mom and the son's friend decide to go and okay, we got to go chase him down. We think we know where he is. He's going to go see Uncle Roy. She said, yeah, we're on our way to Liberal, Kansas. And it's like, but the scene just showed them in Texas, so why are they going through Kansas from Florida to get down to Texas?
There were some geography questions we had.
Yeah, so we just kind of scratched our head and we went, but...
yeah.
A mild offense that we easily overlooked.
Yes, but while we're on, the topic of geography, there was a road sign that made it into the movie. If you do a lot of storm chasing and driving in the United States, you get pretty acclimated to the road systems and which interstates go through which states. And what sign was in Texas?
So yes, they pulled over, they were on the phone, and over the guy's shoulder you could see Interstate 90. And he said, we're in Texas.
Which, if you don't know, the interstate starts at 10 in Texas and goes up as you go north. So Interstate 90 goes through Montana.
Yes, which we found out in the credits afterwards.
Right.
That they had a Montana unit.
Yeah, they were filming in Montana.
So they filmed a lot of things in Montana.
Which makes sense. But it was hilarious that it made it into the movie, because if you know geography and stuff and you're watching, it's like, oh yeah, great. What is that? I-90?
I-90.
Where are we?
Mild offense.
Well,
overlook it.
So we heard the 3 rules of storm chasing according to this movie. I would like to add a 4th rule of storm chasing taught to me by my storm chasing professor, Dr. Godfrey. Do not drive on a dirt road when it is going to be rainy and the road is a terrible dirt road and you know that it's going to turn to mud. They broke this twice in the movie, and things happened because of it that did not have to happen. If you are an experienced storm chaser or a meteorologist, you should know not to do this. And they even point out in the movie, Uncle Roy is like, we should probably not do this, it's a dirt road. The other one says, do it anyways. A real storm chaser probably wouldn't do that unless they're kind of, I think I could think of maybe 1 or 2 storm chasers that would do it. But you should not do that.
But in anticipation for building up in the movie, you had the character that, I pay your salary, you're going down this road, and you've got the employee that's like, oh, I'm going against my better judgment, okay, we'll go down this road, and they have to build up that suspense. So, in reality, it'd be like, I don't care if you fire me. I'm not going down this road. I'm not going to die for you.
I'm going to die. So, I'm sure there's a paved one somewhere. Right. Or if not, we can see the tornado from 20 feet closer this way.
Yeah, so, and the van wound up getting stuck, and, all the drama and everything that would happen afterwards, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, interesting.
And you know what? That's accurate. You go down a dirt road with a tornado coming at you, or at least a storm coming at you. Road's gonna turn to mud. All the hail that happens, a very dangerous situation that you're stuck in when you have large hail coming down, especially if your windows are not, plexiglass dominator esque kind of windows. And you see in the movie what happened to them because of it.
I think they mentioned at one point that it was gorilla hail. But when you look at the hailstones that were hitting at that point in the movie, they didn't look to be much bigger than baseballs. Probably looked a little smaller than that, but gorilla size is 3-inch, softball or greater. So, it would be doing a heck of a lot more damage and sounding a heck of a lot worse, being in basically an empty shell of a van. And then as soon as it happened, it was over. So it was like, yeah, here we go again. We're starting this trend of the weather takes a while to get there, it's there, and then all of a sudden it just ends and the sun's shining. So it's like,
at least the hail was still on the ground afterwards.
Yes, we'll give them props.
It's not like it was blue sky, no hail, no rain, the dirt road was dry again kind of thing like we see in most weather movies.
The CGI was finished, and I guess the acting was too. So.
Budget as well, I guess. Move on.
I swear, Skeet Ulrich, he was taller in Jericho. So, here we are, we're in the scene where the hail is falling, the winds are picking up, and the son is trying to find shelter. He made a split-second decision and was like, well, let me run to this phone booth, it's better than nothing. And then you had the events surrounding, you know, the phone booth, which is partly glass. And that was interesting that they did that scene.
It was cool to see like a first person perspective kind of thing of, oh my gosh, it's coming. You start to see the buildup, you take shelter, the tornado is there. It kind of misses because it doesn't do too much damage. And then it moves on. But again, this is not great advice. It is better to lay down in a ditch somewhere or a flat surface. Probably don't surround yourself with something made completely of windows, because all that glass, if the tornado had hit or was stronger when it hit, it would not have been good. So keeping with the trend of Hollywood kind of including these little snippets where it makes for a great movie, like it's a great set, but are we putting into people's minds that it's a great idea to hide in a phone booth? But again, just nitpicking here because we have to. Just nitpicking. Still love the movie.
I'm gonna read this verbatim.
Please do.
All right?
Please do.
I just have to. It's not steak and eggs, but coffee and hash browns are good enough.
That'll do. That'll do.
That's my own quote. You can quote
Yes,
me on that.
yes.
And that is in reference
Yes.
to them being at the diner, and instead of having steak and eggs at Aunt Meg's, hash browns and coffee. That ain't bad. That's not a bad
Not
way
bad.
to start your storm chasing morning.
Not bad. I know. What else did they order, Dad?
So, okay, here we go. There's nothing like drowning your woes or drowning your sorrows in 2 plates of huevos rancheros. And I probably butchered that.
That's incredible.
But
A+. A round of applause for that.
the one scene, they ordered 2 plates. The son got up and he dipped, and Uncle Roy was there left with 2 plates and just feeling bummed out, and there's nothing like drowning your sorrows in 2 plates of that. So,
So now we're getting ready for the final storm of the movie. We're showing radar footage and satellite footage and everything from actual tornadic supercells. You can see, I noticed that they blocked out the date of what the image was.
actually paused it, went up there and looked.
I'm like,
where is it? What time? What's the
I
date?
don't see the UTC time on this or the date or anything, so yeah, they blocked out exactly what it was. Sneaky, I saw that. But they actually used real satellite images and radar images that showed an actual storm and went with what was going on, mostly up until they did show one shot of a shelf cloud, said it was a supercell, and then kept interspersing that with a supercell. And if you're a meteorologist and you know the difference between a shelf cloud and a supercell, you kind of like get taken out of the moment just for a second, because a shelf cloud means that there's not going to be a tornado. It means that the storm's not rotating, it's just kind of blown itself out. So to see a shelf cloud kind of mixed in with the supercell footage, it's like, oh, so it's not happening. Oh, but it is happening. Oh, and look at the radar, and now it's happening kind of thing. So if you caught that, it may have taken you out of the movie for just a second, but I think that was the only footage like in the entire movie that didn't match what they were talking about, which is miles ahead of what was this 500 mile?
500 mile an hour storm. And
what was the last one?
there's a few other ones that we did that was just, it wasn't even close. It was not even close.
What was the one we gave a -11? We'll see it at the end.
Forgot about it. I
tried to forget it.
I made space for Supercell. I just threw that one out.
Made space for literally anything else. That's how bad it was.
Dropping a hammer on my foot. You know, I just made space for it. It is what it is. Okay, now one of the last scenes when this supercell comes in was the scene where they actually took shelter in a pool. That's one I haven't heard about before. In concept, it sounds like might be a good option if you have no other options.
Yeah.
But there's a few questions that need to be asked before diving into the pool.
There are a few cues that need an A.
How long is this event going to be, and can I hold my breath that long? Is the pool deep enough? If the storm is too strong, will it suck all the water out of the pool? What if it starts throwing things into the pool and I'm like down there?
Your chase vehicle.
Like your chase vehicle. Again, Hollywood decided, you know, like taking the route of the phone booth, let's take the route of a pool and throw that in as an option, as a last-ditch effort. Yeah, they kind of barely eked out of that situation.
Yeah, I'm not sure that death by drowning outweighs your chances against a tornado just laying on the ground, say next to the pool.
Yeah, it's
Also, I mean, it would have been terrible for them if they still got sucked up into the tornado because it took all the water out of the pool. The tornado would have had the last laugh there. But let us know your opinion down in the comments. What did you think of the swimming pool scene at the end? Do you think it was something that's like, maybe we shouldn't be suggesting this to people? Or do you think, you know, it's an inventive idea included in the movie? Let us know your thoughts down there, along with what you thought of the movie Supercell.
That's right.
We gotta rate this now on a scale of 1 to 10.
We talk about meteorological accuracy and entertainment value.
Yes.
So in terms of meteorological accuracy on a scale from 1 to 10, again, we do this with every Met Reacts. So 1 being it was completely awful, 10 being this was spot on in its accuracy.
Yes.
What do you say?
I'd say it was right up there with 13 minutes.
Yeah, so on the upper end of the scale?
Yeah, I'd say it's right around a 10, maybe a little bit below a 10, but if you guys also haven't seen 13 Minutes, highly recommend that movie. Came out last year or the year before. Another accurate weather movie. I definitely think that this is in that category, and it's really encouraging to see 2 back-to-back weather disaster movies from Hollywood with big name actors in it actually ranking high on the meteorology accuracy scale.
That's right. Now how about entertainment value on a same scale, 1 to 10?
I'd say it was very entertaining. It had a great story to it. I really enjoyed the whole plot. It kept me entertained. It wasn't like one of those ones where we had to keep taking breaks and getting up and being like, I can't do this.
Walking away in disgust.
I'd rather watch paint dry.
I'd rather drop a hammer on my foot.
So it was not like that at all.
No,
I would rank it very high on entertainment as well.
Yeah.
Highly, highly recommend. High risk recommend. So there you have it. Our meteorologists react to the movie Supercell. If you like what you saw, be sure to give this video a thumbs up so that it finds more people with the same interest as you. It helps out our channel, as well as subscribing if you haven't already, because we just hit 5,000 subscribers, which is 4,999 more than I thought we ever would, with the one being my mother. So thank you to every one of you who has chosen to watch our videos, spend time with us, subscribe down below, and follow us on our weather journey as we make silly videos like this on YouTube and make some serious videos about college advice and storm chasing. If you want to learn more about meteorology yourself, maybe you don't want to go to college for it, or maybe you're still in high school and you want to start learning now, we have something called the School of Weather, which is a series of online courses that teach you in Tier 1 the basics of meteorology, and in Tier 2 all about severe weather. So what's lightning, how is that made, tornado basics, how wind and thunderstorms play into the rotation aspect of storms, and hurricanes, along with a couple other topics as well. So if you would like to check that out, it will be linked in the description box. Check out our social media, Facebook and Instagram popping up here if you want to follow our weather adventures. And until next time, I'm Kayla.
And I'm Jim.
Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you at the next Meteorology Monday. I don't know. It's 6 in one, half dozen in the others. So 6 in one, half dozen in another.
Oh, I see what you did there.